Okay, so we're at Janet Calhoun's house here in Windsor Heights. We've got our match according to ITEL. It's a Malarkey shingle, I forget the color, but you can see pretty similar match. What we're looking at today is to see if the roof is repairable or not, and then based off of that information we'll extrapolate whether we would need to replace the rear slope or not. You can clearly see Allstate's already paid for this slope and this slope. So for some reason they left the north slope off, or just for line of sight alone, we would need to do that slope at a bare minimum to get that included in the claim. We would have to remove this ridge vent all the way across. Because of that, we're gonna end up having nail holes in all these old shingles, so they'll be left damaged. We can't put the nails in the same hole because they won't hold, and if we put them in a new hole, then we've still got damage. This roof is not very steep, so it's very easy that snow could be on it and melt back into those holes, and then the homeowner would have leaks all across the length of her home. So I don't really feel like that's a reasonable expectation. So I'm just gonna get started with the repair and we'll just see how it goes. And so what I'll do is this was where we pulled our ITEL, and we just put a shingle we had on site with us here. So we'll do a repair right next to that. You'll notice I'm going to hold my pry bar at an angle, so I'm attacking the seal of the shingle, and I'm not going to try to lift up just to try to cause damage to the roof. That's a silly tactic. So it is unsealing pretty easily. I don't see a significant amount of bat transfer, but we do have an issue with some of the sun being so far south already. Makes it difficult to see. So, nail came out pretty easily. Kind of a good sign. Well, that came right up. It's coming up, but it keeps wanting to stay on the shingle. There we go. Good. So when I was lifting this shingle up to look for the nail, it did tear. So again, it's not to say that it might not be completely repairable, but just showing how brittle the shingle is, how difficult it is to manipulate. Again, when we install the roof, we've got to bring the felt over 4 to 6 inches and tuck it under the other side. So if it's struggling to handle this manipulation, it's likely going to be too brittle to handle the manipulation the other direction as well. Looks like this nail may have already pulled through the shingle, but I am able to get it up. Again, right here on this edge. Kind of see that nail still stuck in the shingle below. So just trying to pull this nail out, it pulled through the shingle. So if that's gonna happen, it's probably gonna happen on the whole roof. And I hate being all the way under the shingle like that, but you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. Right here. Okay, so I think we got all the nails out on the first row, so now we're gonna just move up. as I'm moving the bar underneath the shingles, the granules are already displacing on the shingles, so we're kind of affecting the shingles around the repair. We're just going to finish pulling these out. That one tried to pull through, but see if we get it. There. One more over here. So when you're doing these repairs, you typically have to manipulate 4 shingles. So that's what we've had to do. We've had one tear from lifting, so again, if we're trying to pull it back the other way to slide the felt underneath, it's not going to work. Okay, so scoot in over here. You can see there's already a bunch of dirt and debris underneath this shingle. Not a saying that wind necessarily drove it up underneath there, but the shingle wasn't sealed down properly. You have all the nails that came out normally, and then the one that blew out over here, huge hole. So that same hole is going to be on the other shingles as well anytime that happens. If I look at the back here, I'm not seeing a tremendous amount of material transfer, but again, normal nail holes and then the blowout. So if we're having to remove the nails of the ridge cap to install a new ridge cap and any of those nails blow out, then we're going to have damage to that back slope of the shingles. So again, we got all the nails out, and because we got all the nails out, we're able to slide the shingle back in, but you can see the shingle that was recommended by ITEL as the match is too short. So come in here and you can see the shingle, the Malarkey shingle that was recommended is, what, about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch too short. So again, they've already changed the length of the shingle. I'm not going to be able to cut and splice a tiny piece of asphalt shingle here. So even for these front slopes, even if this was a pure match, it's too short of a shingle, so it's not going to be legally repairable because it's not the same thing that's already on the roof. It's not compatible either because it's too short. I understand if it was too long, maybe we could slice that down, but it's not. It's too short already. So we'll definitely seal this one in with some nails, but let me just finish here and we'll see what it looks like whenever we're done. So if I come up to the top, I'll have a couple of existing nail holes I can use. It's going to make things a little bit easier on us. And again, I'm using a hammer here. If I was using a nail gun, I'd have to manipulate this shingle a lot more than I am. But just to get the hammer in there, I've got to go up at least this far. Chip that one, that's on me. Over here, again, it's a lot easier with the existing nail holes, I think. That flush. Again, I just want to bend them enough to get the job done. I'm not trying to over manipulate this in any way, shape, or form. But you've got to lift it up high enough to get to that nail. More over here. Right? Yeah. Where was it? Oh no, that was it. Okay. 5 on the bottom and 3 on the top. So now I don't have any nail holes. So it might make it a little more difficult. We're gonna have to lift this up. Start on this side. That's all me. So I think the main thing to consider here is the recommended match is clearly not a match because it's too short. I have a feeling that Malarkey probably changed the length of the shingle at some point, thus discontinuing the old one. We'll come back and seal this down a little better. Okay, so again, shingle's too short, so it's definitely not compatible with what's on the roof. We've had a nail blowout, so when we're trying to remove the ridge cap and the ridge vent and replace it on the back side, that's a potential cause for concern. We took out 8 nails, and there's going to be 50 nails or more across that length. So that's going to happen at least 5 times based off that average. As far as the shingle condition goes, I didn't manipulate any shingles here. If I rub them, you won't really see any granule loss or deterioration, but the ones that we've had to manipulate, you can see a lot more of those granules coming off the roof. Again, shingles we didn't manipulate, don't really have a lot of that. So we are causing some damage to the shingles. They're very brittle, but they haven't creased in any way. I think the main thing here that makes this roof legally not repairable is that the recommended match is completely too short, so it's incompatible. So that's what makes this roof legally not repairable. The color is very similar, but I think the tab sizes are also different for the dragon tooth shingle. So if this tab is this wide, I come over here, it's too short here. I come over here, it's still too short. This is the smallest tab on this shingle, and it doesn't add up to the sizes on that one. Again, with the line of sight, we've already got the east and the south slopes approved. You can clearly see if we had to replace these slopes, it would definitely be a different shingle. It's not going to be able to be compatible with that. It's also not going to match. And because of the nail blowouts, I do believe that we would need to replace the back slope from the manipulation of the ridge vent. So yeah, I believe the incompatibility and some of the damage that we've caused doing the repair makes this roof legally not repairable.